Hey, welcome everybody. It's Tom here from the Doctors Collective. Today we're talking about monetizing your idea. This is a problem that a lot of the doctors we speak to have, and we help our private clients to address, because a lot of the people we speak to have incredible ideas. They want to change the world. They want to set up programs and apps and various courses and businesses that are going to change the world in a really big way, use their skills, extend their reach, and make a huge impact on the world. Or they've got to come up with a really cool idea, or a whole list of them. The challenge is, what do you then do with that? If it's just an idea in your head, it's not going to make much of a difference in the world. So there are 3 steps to doing this. I like to break things down into 3 steps. And we're going to do things a little differently, because the trouble that a lot of people get themselves into is that they start off with the cool thing. They've got this cool widget or gadgets or product or thing that they came up with, and they fall in love with their thing, and then they're trying to find someone who will buy their thing or want their thing. And we get ourselves into trouble, because then we're like, all right, we put all this time, effort into creating this thing, but nobody actually wants it. And I'll give you an example. There's a great Australian app called Cancer Aid. Fantastic app. They do a great job. The users love it. The problem is there's no one to pay for it. Nobody wants to pay them for it. I mean, they've got some clients here and there, but it's a hard slog to convince people to pay for the app, to pay them. And they're trying to sell it to hospitals and different institutions and things like that. But it's going quite, from what I remember from the conversations I've had, they're having difficulty trying to get someone to pay for it. And it's because they didn't start with that end in mind. And so the other way to approach this is to think about the people you actually want to help, and then creating a solution, or making sure that your solution fits in to the problem that they're having. And that's the way that I like to approach things, because it just, well, I'll walk you through the 3 steps, and you'll see how much of a more efficient and effective and a successful way it is of doing things. I'll give you some cool examples along the way as well. So 3 steps. The first step to monetizing your idea is throw out the ideas. Right? Throw out the ideas and start off instead with, who do you want to be helping? Who do you want to be working with? From your experiences as a doctor, as a human being, as an entrepreneur, who are the people that you would love to be working with and serving? Start off with that, okay? We're not going to completely throw out your ideas. We're going to bring them back in a second. In step 3, we bring them back. But first, we're going to throw those out for now. We need to start with who you're actually wanting to help. And then step 2, I've written them down so that, because I prepared. It's a lot of preparations. It took me about 2 minutes to prepare for it. The second thing is identify the problems that these individuals are having, and what are those problems costing them, and what solutions would they love to have. Okay, so problems. So step 1 is, who are these people you want to help? Step 2 is, what are the problems they're having, and what solutions would they love to have? So I'll give you an example. One of the businesses we run helps people prepare for the GAMSAT, and you may have heard of it. It's the postgraduate medical school entrance exam in Australia and the UK. And we didn't just start off with like, oh, we got this great idea for a program and we're going to help somebody. I went through it myself. I went through the GAMSAT and I struggled with it for a number of years, and saw that there were so many other people who were also struggling with this bloody exam. They were so confused and they misinterpreted the whole thing. And so they ended up struggling with it over and over and over. And having gone through it and going from failing the damn thing to actually getting in, I figured out what worked and what didn't, and I saw the solution to the problems that they had, and I know I had the solutions to them. So I knew the people, because I was one of them in the past, and I knew friends who were struggling with this thing. I knew what problems they had, and I knew what solutions they wanted. They wanted help with each section of the GAMSAT with particular problems they were having, and there was someone to show them how to fix those problems, how to prepare for this thing. And so I didn't just start off with a cool thing I wanted to do and then try and find someone who would buy it, but instead I started with the problems, people trying to get through the GAMSAT, what problems did they have, what solutions did they want, and then And then step 3 is takes your ideas and see which one of those fit into the problems that people are having. Okay, so maybe you have an idea for a professional consultancy for emergency departments to help them improve the flow of the department. So you have this cool idea for an app that'll help, for example, waiting rooms process patients more quickly. So you come up with this cool app, this cool gadget that does a cool thing. And the problem with that will be finding someone who will want it. And so we want to do this in the other way around. So I want to start off with what are the problems the emergency departments are having? What solutions do they want? And then where does your app fit into it? Where can your app or your idea address the problems that they're having? And that way you actually find people who have problems that they're willing to pay, for which they're willing to pay to get a solution. And then your program or product, whatever it is, can fit that and be paid for. People want to pay you for it. So that is a much more effective way of monetizing your ideas rather than kind of starting with the idea and working from there. Now, we have had private clients who start off with an idea and they're like, guys, how do I monetize this bloody thing? Because I want to get this thing done. I know there's a need, but I don't know how to monetize it. That's when we have a conversation, because this is quite general, obviously, but that we can craft a process to each individual. And in fact, we're going to be going to a lot more detail on a live training that I'm holding next week on Tuesday night. The link is around this video. If you're on Instagram, you're not going to get it, but in Facebook, it's around this video. Go to the link, register if you want to know more about how to monetize your ideas, how to kind of turn your ideas into a lifestyle that you can supplement some of the work that you're doing in medicine or replace it completely. And I'm going into more detail on that on the webinar, and head over to the link around this video to register and find out more. But there you have it, 3 steps to monetizing your ideas. Enjoy.